My earliest memory of physical pain, real physical pain that did not want to go away, I was about 12 years old, which would lead to a bunch of diagnostic testing and no diagnosis and exploratory surgery. And then throughout the rest of my life, it seems like I have dealt with some level of pain, whether it was in my neck or in my shoulder blades or in my jaws or in my stomach. I've always had some level of pain. And then in the last few years, things really began to move south towards my hips and my legs and my foot. And I aggressively sought treatment so that I could continue this busy lifestyle that I had, being a mom and a wife and a daughter and a sister and a friend, and I had a couple jobs. And I really just didn't want to find myself debilitated, but about 3 years later, that's exactly where I would find myself. I had a total hysterectomy, and quite frankly, the surgery itself felt rather uneventful. However, I never turned the corner into complete healing. And not only did I not turn a corner into complete healing, but all my pains began to get much worse and worse and worse, till the point where I was no longer eating without vomiting. So after a few months of that, I had deduced myself to a pretty much all liquid diet, living off of Ensure and broth and Jello and pudding. And I would continue to aggressively seek treatment and solution and diagnosis, with none being found. I've seen many specialists. Over the last year alone, I have seen at least 6. I've had many tests where nothing shows up, nothing's revealed in my blood work, nothing's revealed in tests, doctors don't feel anything. I didn't know the name, adhesions. I didn't know what to call it. So I had these descriptions, I had things that felt like bands over my hips. And I would describe them to doctors as, I feel like there's a band over here that's just wrapping around me. And I was pretty much left on medication and put to bed. And I refuse to believe that that's my life. But I was often looked at like I was crazy, or that it was in my head, or that mostly hands were thrown up at me. Like, we just don't know. We just don't know, But not only did they not know, but I really don't feel that anyone made the effort to say, I don't know, but let's find out. When I got here, I was certainly greeted with calmness and a very keen understanding of what had been happening to me and what I had been experiencing and what I had been trying to tell people for a very long time. After my first 4 hours of treatment, I ate solid food, and I did not throw up, and I was not in agonizing pain. The next morning, I flew down 2 flights of stairs before I even knew what I was doing, and walking, especially stairs, had been something that I hadn't been able to do for a year. As my time at Clear Passage went on, I chose to do the 20-hour session here. And as my week went on, I would find myself sleeping longer through the night, not spending hours every night awake. I'm just so looking forward to going home and seeing my children and my mom and my dogs and beginning to live life again. I have so missed living, and that is really how I felt, that I was not living and I was a mere existence and I no longer knew how to help myself. So I think that Clear Passage should be the first stop when people don't know what's wrong. I certainly wished I would have found it a long, long time ago, but I found it now, so this is my time, and I'm going to get it.